Hi, this is Press of Atlantic City sports editor Mark Melhorn, and I'm here with Eagles beat writer Dave Weinberg, just to talk a little bit about Dave's remembrances of covering the Eagles while defensive coordinator Jim Johnson was there. Johnson passed away today, earlier today, and Dave, I know he's been one of the more influential members of this team that has been so strong for the last probably decade or so, I guess. He was one of Andy Reid's first hires, is that correct?
Right, yeah. When Andy got the job in 1999, he went into Lurie and Banner's offices, and they asked him, what are some of his thoughts about building a coaching staff. And Andy actually told the story today about how when he was coaching at Green Bay and Jim was the defensive coordinator in Indianapolis, they went into Indy and got spanked in the year when they had a really powerful Packers offense. And ever since that day, Jim Johnson's name was in the back of Andy's mind. He always thought that if he ever had the opportunity to be a head coach, Jim would be one of the first people that he called, and that's how it unfolded.
So, Dave, you've covered the Eagles for several years now. Tell me a little bit about some of your remembrances of Johnson. Is there a particular story or a particular game or moment that sticks out in your head that really defined who he was?
Well, he was kind of a quirky person. I mean, he gave off the appearance of being a very gruff and tough kind of guy, and he was in a lot of ways. But there was also the other side, a humorous side to him, and a I don't want to say gentle side, but kind of an adventurous spirit. I kind of got to know him. He much more enjoyed talking about stuff other than football. With me, because I'm a golf addict, as you know, and so was he. So it was like our annual tradition at the sort of training camp. We'd exchange golf stories about what we did over the summer, what courses we played, what courses we'd like to play, and he'd always give me tips about some courses that I had never been to and that kind of thing. So we kind of get to know each other a little bit away from the field. On the field, very, very much responsible for every bit as responsible as Andy Reid and Donovan for the Eagles' success over the years. I thought. I mean. It was one of those weird dynamics where Andy took care of the offense, Jim took care of the defense, and they never clashed, they never argued, and it was the defense that led them to a lot of their wins. It was kind of weird because Dawkins was always his favorite because of the way he played, but he had a great fondness for guys like Hugh Douglas and even like Leo Shepard. I know one of his toughest decisions during his tenure was having to demote Lito last year because he was always one of his favorite players, and Hugh would just infuriate him to no end, and that was something that he kind of enjoyed. He would never admit it, but he really did.
Right. Was there any specific game, or I know he was sort of seen as sort of a defensive genius in the schemes that he would create for games. And is there any particular game that you remember that just sticks out in your head as like, wow, he really just blew you away with the game plan he created or the defenses that he created?
I can't really remember like one specific game, just the fact that it was always a matter of when. Actually, I can tell you one. I remember, I don't know what year it was, but Dallas had come to town, and Barry Switzer was the coach, and he insisted on. They had like 5 shots at a 4th and 1 for some reason, and he insisted on running Emmitt Smith into the line the whole time, and the defense just bowed up, and they actually went backwards. For 5 straight plays, there was a penalty in there.
Right. Oh, yeah, I remember that game.
I just remember it was just 4th and 1, 4th and 1, 4th and 1, 4th and 1, and they never changed the play. But Johnson just kept running the same defense, and they stuffed them, and then took over on downs. It was just, and that's the way all his defenses were. I mean, sure they got burned from time to time, and he got ripped for kind of being like a bend but don't break. But once you got inside the 20-yard line, or especially inside the 10, that's when his defenses really shined because touchdowns were his worst enemy. I mean, he'd always said if he could hold the team to 17 points or less, that he had a chance to win. And he took a lot of pride in that. The yardages in there, even the rushing yards didn't really bother him that much. It was just points allowed that he was more concerned with.